Most LinkedIn growth advice sounds something like just post consistently, follow this copywriting framework in your content. But anyone who's actually grown a LinkedIn following to multiple thousands of followers and generated serious revenue off the back of LinkedIn knows that the single most important part of LinkedIn growth is engaging and commenting. In this video, I'll be giving you a full guide on how to properly comment and engage with other people's content on LinkedIn. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, we need to look at why this is such an effective tactic and why you need to pay attention and actually implement this. LinkedIn's algorithm just tanked everyone's reach, but there's one strategy it can't touch. While everyone's panicking about algorithm changes and posting more, hoping for different results, some people stopped waiting for the algorithm to choose them, and they took control instead. Because here's the reality. The algorithm can change tomorrow. Your reach can drop 50%. LinkedIn can completely shift how posts get distributed. But three things will always work: a thoughtful comment on someone's post that gets seen, a genuine conversation in the DMs that builds trust, and strategic engagement that leverages other people's audiences to grow your own. Strategic commenting builds genuine relationships and positions you as an authority in your space. Now, here's the critical distinction. This does not mean exhausting yourself in massive viral comment sections with 500 other people saying surface level things. This is about being selective, being strategic, asking yourself, does this person's content actually align with my work? Would connecting with them move my goals forward? Or am I just commenting because everyone else is? How do we find the right posts to engage with? Step one, we're going to identify your target influencers. First, I make a list of 20 to 30 people in my niche who are actively posting and have the audience I want to reach. Here's how I find them. I use LinkedIn's keyword search and filter by job title. I look at who's commenting on industry leaders' posts. You can also benchmark and look who's engaging with your competitors. Step two, create a LinkedIn list. First step is on desktop, click on the empty search bar and press enter. Next, click posts and access filters to start building your personalized feed. You'll start adding names to that little button from member and then choose options under sort, dated post, etc. Click results, and there you can build a feed that you actually love. Last step, and very important, favorite it, save it as a bookmark so you can always come back to it and it doesn't disappear when you refresh. Step three, we're going to set up our power list. So I keep a simple Google Excel sheet with 4 columns: category, name, profile link, and last engaged. This helps me rotate through my target list and make sure I'm not just commenting on the same 3 people every day. Comment strategy is not the same as random engagement. Don't waste time commenting on every viral post with thousands of comments just because of FOMO. Be selective about where you engage. These 20 to 30 people can become the foundation of your entire LinkedIn growth strategy. Now let's break down the actual types of comments that get engagement, build your authority, and drive profile views. Type 1 I call the value add comment. This is where you share a personal experience, a tactical tip, or a resource that expands on what the original post said. Why does it work? Because you're not just agreeing, you're actually making the post even more valuable for everyone that's reading it. So instead of just saying, great insight, I will add value. They were dealing with a 90% churn rate and talking about repositioning around their best customers. I've literally been there. So instead of a generic comment, I shared what we discovered, that our churn was tied to budget, not fit. And I added the bit about easier wins because it's the hard truth. And honestly, those smaller clients sign fast and feel like progress. But if they can't stick around, you're building on quicksand. So this is from one of our clients. It worked because he didn't just say Reddit is great for research. He got specific about why it's valuable. He called it a mirror of real customer language that's raw and unfiltered, which immediately paints the picture. Then he backed it with his own results, SEO content and conversion copy that outperforms keyword-based content. It's a value add comment because he's sharing a tactical insight with proof and not just agreeing with the original post. And that got him like 6,418 impressions. Type 2, the challenge comment. This is where you respectfully push back or ask a thought-provoking question that opens up the conversation. Why does it work? Because thoughtful debate drives engagement. So here's a post from one of my close friends, Stein. Stein's post is him clapping back at someone who said his content sounds AI generated. He's doubling down saying, yes, I use AI for everything and I'm making bank because of it. Here's my comment. I agree with his premise. AI speeds things up, but then I add nuance. If your process sucks, AI just makes you suck faster. That's really the truth about AI tools, or at least what I believe. Then I add the real challenge, but hey, if someone's calling you out, maybe your personality isn't coming through and that's worth looking at. I think AI can totally help you, but there's a line between using it as a tool and your content actually sounding AI generated. I'm basically saying he might be right about AI being useful, but he's missing the point about why people are pushing back. It's not confrontational, but it definitely makes him reconsider. Type 3, the supportive comment. This is your, I see what you are saying, here's my angle comment. Why does it work? You are building relationship capital while still making yourself visible. Here's one of my comments on a post about using Reddit for market research. The original post was talking about how Reddit gives you real customer language instead of just saying totally agree. I supported their point, but added my own perspective that Reddit is one of the hardest channels to hack because it forces you to do actual human relationship building, which marketers tend to forget about. I'm validating what they said while layering in a deeper insight about why it matters. It's not just challenging them, it's building on their idea with something specific from my own experience. This type of comment works because you're showing you actually read and thought about their post, you're adding value without making it about you, and you're positioning yourself as someone who gets it on a deeper level. Type 4, the witty, relatable comment. When appropriate, a witty or relatable comment can make you memorable. Why does it work? Because people remember how you made them feel. Now, let's talk about the technical stuff that will maximize your ROI on every comment. Timing is everything. So comment within the first 30 to 60 minutes after a post goes live, because LinkedIn's algorithm heavily weights early engagement. And if you're one of the first 3 to 5 comments, you're essentially guaranteed visibility. And this is where my power list system comes in handy, because I can quickly scan through my target accounts and catch posts while they are fresh. Make sure you are commenting with your personal profile unless the strategy is to build the company page on LinkedIn. That's a complete different story. Also, make sure your profile is optimized before you start this strategy. If someone clicks through and sees a half-filled profile with no clear value proposition, you've wasted that opportunity. No generic great post comments ever. These are worse than not commenting. Your comment should be substantial enough that someone could reply to it and start a real conversation. Don't sell in comments. This is critical. Comments are for building authority, not closing deals. If you're dropping your service pitch in every comment, people will avoid you. Instead, focus on being genuinely helpful. The DMs and connections will come naturally. Let me be very clear. AI generated comments that post on your behalf are garbage, and they will absolutely destroy your reputation. But that said, using AI as a sparring partner to refine your commenting copy, that's actually smart. Here's how I do it. I don't just use a blank ChatGPT chat. I have an AI agent that already knows me. It's trained on my posts, my tone, my ideas, and everything I've built so far. So when I draft a comment, I can just drop it in with a prompt like, here's my draft comment, refine it so it sounds like me, natural, sharp, and to the point. If I've mentioned related ideas or takes before, like recurring themes or opinions I've shared, weave in one subtle reference or phrase that ties it back to my usual voice or perspective. Keep it short and conversational. The key difference in the idea I want to give you is that you are still doing the thinking. You formulated the insight. AI is just helping you polish it and maybe add context or details you've talked about before, but forget to include this time. But here's where most people fail. Consistency. Commenting feels like work, and if you don't have a system, you will burn out in a week. So let me show you my exact productivity system. First thing is power lists. Remember that customized LinkedIn and Excel sheet I mentioned? Here's how I actually use them. Every Monday morning, I'll spend 10 minutes updating my power list in Google Sheets. I add any new people I've discovered during the week, remove anyone who's gone inactive or isn't posting consistently, and update the star column with accounts I actually want to engage with. This rotation system ensures I'm not just commenting on the same 3 to 4 people every day and accidentally ghost the rest. I also check my LinkedIn list to see who's actually posting. If someone hasn't shown up in a while, I'll either remove them or move them to a low activity tab. The goal isn't to engage with everyone every week. It's to make sure I'm consistently visible to the right people over time. Here's how I actually use AI for my commenting strategy. I set up a dedicated Claude project for LinkedIn engagement. Inside that project, I've loaded documents about my tone of voice and writing style, my ICP and what they care about, examples of comments that have worked well, key insights and experiences from my business. So the most important thing is that the AI has all my background knowledge loaded in. So it's not just starting from scratch, but the insight that still comes from me. I'm the one saying, we had this churn problem. Here's what we learned from our clients. AI just helps me say it cleaner and more concisely. I block 15 minutes every morning before I check anything else for commenting. So here's my schedule. 10 minutes, I comment on 5 to 7 high value posts from my power list. Another 5 minutes is to reply to any comments on my recent posts. Other 5 minutes is to engage in DMs if conversations from comments are going somewhere, because consistency beats volume. 15 focus minutes every day will beat a 2-hour binge session once a week. Now, here's where this gets really interesting. You can actually turn comment engagement into a lead generation system. When someone comments on a high performing post, especially your post, they are signaling intent. This is a post about my story on how I accidentally ended up on LinkedIn and got like 106 comments. Now, not all of these comments are from my ideal customers, but some are from people in completely different industries. If I tried to manually go through all 106 and figure out who's worth reaching out to, I'd waste a lot of time. So here's the system. Step 1 is to capture comments with Trigify. Trigify lets you automatically capture everyone who comments on your posts, and you export them into a CSV. Step 2, you take that list and run it through an enrichment tool like N8N or Clay. These tools pull job titles, company size, industry, basically all the data you need to figure out if someone's actually a good fit. You can set up filters like only show me people who are CMO or VP of marketing at companies with 50 to 500 employees. Step 3, you're going to reach out at scale with HeyReach. Now, you've got a qualified list of people who've already engaged with your content. These are warm leads. Here's the great part. Because they've already commented on your post, your acceptance rate will be way higher than cold outreach, and your reply rate will be even better. Let's wrap this up with a practical daily plan you can implement starting tomorrow. Your morning routine is going to consist of minimum 30 minutes. 10 minutes, open your power list in Google Sheets, pick 5 to 7 people who you haven't engaged with recently, check that last engaged column, and find their latest posts and leave thoughtful value add comments. The next 10 minutes you're going to use to go to your customized LinkedIn feed, the list you created in My Network Saved, scroll through and engage with any posts you missed from your target accounts. This catches anyone who posted outside your power list rotation. The next 10 minutes you're going to use to check your own recent posts, reply to anyone who commented, keep the conversation going. This is where relationships actually get built, not just in the initial comment. End of day, take 10 minutes to check DMs. If any conversations from comments are going somewhere, continue them. And every weekly review, I like doing every Monday, kind of like a little time block to update my power list, add new people, and remove inactive accounts. So here's what's critical. It's consistency over volume. Don't try to comment on 50 posts a day and burn out in a week. Do 30 minutes to an hour every day for at least 90 days, and you will see the results. That wraps up how you can implement this growth strategy. But odds are, if you're here right now, you're probably probably looking to do lead generation through LinkedIn too. And while this strategy in particular is amazing, there's actually a much more predictable and consistent way you can generate leads through LinkedIn. So if you check out this video right here, we go through the exact system step by step and show you the full process that you can take to implement this lead gen strategy from yourself. So if you want to use LinkedIn for lead gen better than all of your competitors, I'll see you over there.